All right, hello everybody. It's Chris and Summer Shealy
What's
down in Raleigh.
up?
We're here with our friend Naomi Raine.
Hello.
Naomi is you're up in Minnesota
Yes, in Minnesota.
doing your thing.
Not from
Not
Minnesota, though.
from. We'll talk
Not
about it.
from. I'm from New York, New York.
Let it
Yes.
be known.
Let it be known for the
Yes.
people, just in case
We
they.
always have to do that.
Oh, the city with the greatest theme song, right?
Yes. I mean, Frank Sinatra,
Come
Alicia
on,
Keys, Jay-Z. You know
keep
what I'm
going.
saying? Just
It's a big deal. New York. Just in case you didn't know, New York City is a big deal. It's a big deal,
yes.
and we love it. And
Annie,
Annie, come on. I mean,
sorry.
we could go all day with this. But we wrote a song together, and it is
Yes.
releasing this Friday.
Yay!
And we're super pumped about it. We just wanted to spend a few minutes chatting about it and telling the story of why we wrote it. But first and foremost, Duncan and Kate Smith say to tell you hello, that they love you, and
Hello.
to give
I
you
love them so much.
they are the real deal,
So,
the
so much.
presidents that catch the fire. And we're here in Raleigh, where they live at Catch the Fire Raleigh Durham. And we also work with the label at Catch the Fire Music. So I guess let's dive into like why we wrote this song. We got a text from Kate Smith over the summer, maybe a little earlier than that. It was
Spring,
May-ish,
yeah.
Yeah,
in
spring.
between,
Like
and
April, May.
it was we were all stuck at home in the COVID crisis and the pandemic, and then
Mhm.
the world seemed to be just losing its mind. There was terrible stuff happening. The George Floyd stuff was happening. It was just there was a lot going on in the world, and Kate, just being the connector that she is, she knows that we have a heart to be like sons and daughters of the King that release a sound, and we want to release the kingdom sound. And she's like, "Y'all need to write a song with Naomi." So she group texted us, and that's where it all started,
Yes,
right?
That's how we met. Yep.
it
Over a group
is.
text, I was like, I hope this is okay. I've never even talked to her in person, and I'm texting her. Um, but yeah, that is how we met, and we're so thankful to
Oh
Kate
yeah,
for making that connection. So during the time that we were doing that, we were doing all of our worship stuff from home because all the buildings were shut
Mhm.
down. We weren't having any kind of gatherings, so we were doing church services and prayer sets and all different kinds of things recording here from the house.
yeah,
And it was during one of our prayer sets, it was just really coming from a place of like crying out for the Lord to break down all of our preconceived boxes of what we considered normal or any. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
yeah,
Just crying out from that place for us personally of just come and wash our minds, wash our hearts, cleanse our minds, cleanse our hearts, help us to see only what you see.
yeah.
And so out of that cry just sort of came this chorus, come and fill our hearts, come and fill our minds, come and fill our souls, Holy Spirit,
Right.
revive us. And we just flowed in that. It was in a prayer set. And then over the course of the next couple of months, it just kept coming up in like spontaneous moments. And we just really felt like
It's got to be something on
this
that.
is a gift from the Lord.
Yeah,
There's something on it. We need to finish it. And so when she made the connection with you, we really felt like immediately I was like, I'm like, this is who's supposed to help us finish this. Like, I know
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
So that's sort of like how it initially started. And I was like, this isn't very much. We jumped on a Zoom with her.
Yeah.
I was like, we're meeting you first time on a Zoom, but I have this little song baby, like you like
that's
to
what
call it.
Naomi. Yeah, the song babies.
You really said that.
Yes, literally. And I'm like, we feel something on it. This is where it came from. And so we just sang it. And she just immediately came out with this amazing melody and lyrics for verse.
Yeah,
And it just went from there. But you can,
yeah,
I mean, well, from my perspective, I had met Kate in New York. We were doing something together, and we connected. And she said, even then, this was maybe 2 years ago, and she said, she's like, "You've got to meet Chris and Summer. You've got to work together." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." You're like, "Okay, sure."
yeah.
And then she, we would continue to text as time went on. But
Right.
when this whole thing happened, she was texting me a lot. We were texting each other with the whole George Floyd thing and Ahmaud Arbery. It was like all of that stuff happening at the same time. So when like I wanted to work with you guys, but at that point I was really frustrated with the whole thing. And the idea of writing a song about like that could help with racial reconciliation in my mind, like, so in my heart, I'm like, yes, this is what we need. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm angry, I'm annoyed, I'm pissed off, and I don't want to write anything that's not real. And plus, I don't know these people, so I don't know what I'm walking into. Like, I don't know what this is about to be, you know? And so when we got on, you guys were so cool. Even in the text messages, you guys were so cool. So when we got on, I think we even missed the first day. But when we got on and you started playing it, I was so grateful, because honestly, if I would never think that chorus would be about something or leaning toward racial reconciliation in the church. But when you think about it, it's like, no, that's exactly what we need, you know? And one of the reasons I love this song is that whether you're thinking about racial reconciliation or not, it's still appropriate. It's still necessary, because we need to be unified. That was one of the prayers that Jesus prayed to the Father for our benefit, that we would hear him pray. And that's what he was praying for, that we would be one as he and the Father are one, you know? And so as I listened to you guys do that, well, some of you began to sing it, and I'm like, oh, wow, like I'm super moved. And then, we just started flowing in worship. And I love writing songs from that place where we're just worshiping and we're figuring out the other stuff later. But first and foremost, it's just like, okay, what's happening in this moment? What, I don't want to say what just feels right, but what is matching with this moment? And that's why it's special to me. Because it snuck up on me. I didn't know.
We got you. No, it was such an honor to write it, man. Like, I mean, I think you came in with the verses in like maybe 10 seconds, and you started singing these verses, and I'm like, the
melody,
this is it. Like, she just had it, and it was so surreal. But one of the joys for me in writing a song with that in our mind is, as a white man and a leader and of a diverse worship team. And we've been praying for diversity, and not that we even know what that would mean or look like, or what our role in that is, or how we do any of that. We just know that that's important to God. We found ourselves in that season also frustrated, because our friends that we love and care about were hurting. And I didn't know what to do. We didn't even know what we didn't know. And we realized, as much as we think we know, as long as we've been alive, and as much as we have seen, we have so much yet to learn. And one of my favorite lines was, we're awakening the truth to the things we never knew. And for me in this season, that has been absolutely huge. Like, first of all, to be teachable and to just sometimes sit down and be quiet and listen. And if anything, that feels like the heart of a father. That feels like just kingdom, to not worry about, I'm a solutions guy. I like to fix things. When I'm a justice guy, like when something's wrong, I don't do the gray area. I'm like, that's wrong or that's right. Let's fix it. And just knowing that I don't even know that I have the answers outside of Jesus, outside of the Holy Spirit, outside of that oneness and that unity, I really don't know if I have much to add to this conversation except for singing that over and over. And anyway, for my heart, that line was like, yeah, Lord, awaken me to your truth, to the things I don't know. And anyway.
And I want to just say, I'm sorry if I can, that. One thing I think that really blessed me, I was getting is, like, anytime I would go out and lead worship, even in this time, the Lord was really dealing with me a lot to minister to my white brothers and sisters and say, hey, God has not called you to just be quiet and shut up and not say anything. And I think that is a misconception. It's like, don't ask any questions, because if you ask the wrong question, then you're going to say the wrong thing. And when you say the wrong thing, then you'll be judged for it. And now some people will cancel. We're going to be honest. We know some people are just like, done, no, because they're so hurt, and traumatized. And that is the thing. But I feel like there's no way for us to really come into a place of reconciling if we're not able to have these conversations. And that used to bug me. Like, I hate it. It's like, start a conversation. I'm like, leave me alone. I just want to say what I want to. But really, we do have to talk to one another and hear. And so I was grateful in that we were able to be honest, that I feel like, I think when we say stuff like we're awakening the truth to the things we never knew, we think that that's only for white people regarding this situation. Some people think that, but that's not true. I think that many of my African-American brothers and sisters, and also other minority groups, we've had to come to the truth in some things as well. There's some things I didn't think still existed. I had to wake up to that truth as well. I had to recognize who some people were, that there were people that were racist that I never thought that was the truth. But then also I had to begin to understand how we got to where we got, and like to where we are, and how to love people through their ignorance. Like, ignorance doesn't mean hate,
Right.
you know, and that's something that I had to, you know, accept. And I think that I'm a very like open-minded person and balanced. I try to be very fair. You know, come on, keep saying
yes,
that.
You are.
No,
Usually.
you know, but it troubled me, because there were some things that I just felt like, why don't we see this? Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
You know, like, why is this even a debate? You know, but then when you realize that people are hurt, and when you realize the effects of war, a lot of this comes from the Civil War and from, you know, money. A lot of this, like even the way Black people are treated in America, stemming from slavery, all of that, a lot of that was about money. And when we understand that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, then we can understand how these things can spring up. And so to me, it was learning that in and of itself, that I don't think that people are just inherently purposefully evil or trying to be mean or you know, toward us. I think that there are reasons why we are the way we are, why we think the way we think. And that's not just other, that's me too, you know, and we all
so good. That's so good.
arrived here from a place.
That's so healthy. You're so awesome. Wow.
That's so good.
It's just like, it's one of the joys of our life to run with friends in the kingdom that are not just white. It's just such a beautiful thing to be stewarded, and to be, it's very valuable. Growing up in the church, we've been in church our entire life. And I'm actually super excited about what I'm seeing around me. And I'm 35, and for the first time in our life, we're surrounded by diversity. And I'm like, Lord, He is doing something. It's just, with what you guys are working on at Mav City, and it's like this beacon of light and hope that is changing everything. And so on the positive side, I'm like, let's lean into what God's doing. And it looks like writing songs with people that would never write like us before, or that wouldn't speak like us before, and just leaning into that so that we can get this new sound that's coming. One of the things we'd say a lot is the sound of a son and a daughter, the sound of one set free, that God's solutions are all right here already. He put all of His solutions on the earth inside of His kids. Yeah. And so in writing this song, our absolute agenda, in it was to release that sound. Yeah. And to be a son and a daughter that can rise above the noise of the situations and release His sound. And I think we got there with you. And I think,
yeah. I love what you said a few minutes ago about it. It can be about the racial reconciliation or not, but like the heart cry and the anthem of the song is that it would just take us into a place where He washes us to see with the eyes of love. Oh. So that can address the racial reconciliation, or it can address 100 other things that are going on in your life or in your community. But it's like, wash and cleanse us, fill us, Holy Spirit, revive us, make us one, so that all we see is with your eyes of love. And so that's really, I know, like our heart for this song is that as people sing it, yes, it's a cry for right now where we are. Yeah. But it's also just a cry for that as sons and daughters, we would begin to see and operate just through the eyes of love, and that God would awaken that again.
Yeah.
It's so good. I was thinking of the second verse where we say, we are tired of tradition that is void of true conviction.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, Jesus, show us how it's done. I felt like it was so cut and dry. Yeah. And it was bold. And I think we even toyed with saying we are tired of religion. And we said we don't want to say that, because there is pure and good religion. But when it comes to us just doing things because it's tradition and it's just what we've always done, no, God, like disrupt that,
Right.
Disrupt that, because I think what should stay, what should remain normally does. We are creatures of habit, so we'll keep what we want to do generally. But when the Holy Spirit begins to like tap on something and say, hey, I want you to look at that. He's so good at that, at just not completely like just wiping us off the face of the earth. Like, you got it wrong, but he's like, I want you to pay attention to this. I think when those moments happen, it's like, yes. And we're in the song, like screaming it, like we're like, God, show it to us, do something to us that keeps us convicted, like, I'm just excited.
I am excited. I was about to say something about that verse, so I'm glad you did.
I really felt like the way this came together on that Zoom call that day was just like God breathed in a moment.
Yeah.
And it was so like spirit born of the Spirit. And I'm like, I never in a million years would have heard that song finish out that way. But as we did it, I was like, this is exactly it.
Yeah.
Like, this is so born of the Spirit right now.
That's
and
right.
Something inside of me was just like leaping. Like, this is our cry, God.
This is it. Yeah. I know that sounds a little bit like we're maybe tooting our own horn, like we've written this great song, but no, we truly, to the core of our being, and with every fiber that's within us, we believe that this song and the others that'll come out of this season are the ones that we need to be singing, that will be what we need as a church, as a body, to move beyond where we've been into the next season, which is actually, we're stoked about it. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah.
And I last thing I want to say is that the beauty of how, I would say relatively quickly it came together and effortlessly. I think we did play with words and stuff. We weren't just like, whatever comes out, but it just seemed so Spirit led. It felt so Spirit led. So I'm grateful. And even like on the day of, I just randomly, cause we had written a song maybe a year ago, when I at a Maverick camp, which was like that, make us one, Father, Spirit, Son, we want to be just like you. And so at the recording, we're literally like, I'm just like, wait, hold it, sing this. Like, it was like a last minute thing. Like,
it worked.
I have to sing this. I don't know why, and I don't even know what's going to happen with that song, but like, I feel like I had to sing it. And my prayer is that people will hear the song, that their hearts would be changed, even if, because I understand like some of like the lack of diversity is just because of where you live and who's there. If your town or your city is not diverse, you might not have a super diverse church. And I think that that's okay, because you worship where you are. And I don't think we should just be implanting people randomly just to feed our own desires and make things weird. But I do think that as our minds open up and we're starting to be open toward like just the real truth, because there's more than one culture in terms of like racial. There's age culture, there's an elderly culture, and there's younger people, and even us in the middle. I feel like I'm a millennial, but the older I get, I'm starting to look at the kids now like, I don't know.
I don't know who you are.
I'm like, what are y'all? YZ? I don't know what this is, but it's interesting. There's so many different cultures, even as a mom, you have the moms that go out to work, the moms that stay home. Those are two different cultures of people and ways of thinking and mindsets. And you have people that are in the world, the people that are in the church. Now, what kind of church did you grow up in? Were you charismatic? Are you reformed? There's so many different cultures that God is saying, guys, enough. Mm-hmm. Come together and be one, and so I feel like this goes beyond race, and I'm not shortcutting how necessary that is for this time, but it's so much bigger than that. God is trying to bring the whole body together so that, when he's speaking, we're all kind of getting it at the same time. We're moving together and not just sitting paralyzed on the road because one foot wants to go this way, an arm wants to go this way, but we're all walking together, Make us one.
Make us one, Lord.
Oh, we love you.
We love you so much. It was the joy of our life to write this song with you and to be a friend. So,
yes,
we love you. And everyone, it comes out on Friday, I think at midnight.
Yep, October 9th.
October 9th.
I'm
Everywhere
ready.
you can get it. We're
I'm
ready.
gonna download it like on every platform.
I
Just
might buy it like 6 times. I don't know, 7 times.
you
We'll
know,
see.
just
Just get
why
it done.
not?
Why not?
And you do it too. No.
All right. Love you all.